Welcome to GPVWC and Formula Sprint 2, where in 2025 we will see some returning names and some new ones challenging for both the teams and drivers' championships. First up is Scuderia Cap Clay. Finnish squad Scuderia Cap Clay were 4th last season and have been consistently best of the rest and in the top 5 since 2022. However, a title challenge has never quite come together for them. This season, team owner Mikael Tuomala is partnered by Junio Lopez, who joins Cap Clay full-time after impressing at the end of last year. Tuomala stays on for his 5th season in Formula Sprint 2 with the Cap Clay squad. Last season he was in the points 22 times and scored 3 podiums, including a win in the reverse grid race at Singapore on his way to 5th in the championship, exactly where he finished in 2023. The experience and consistency is clearly there. Now is the time for the Finn to deliver. Portuguese driver Lopez had a difficult start to life in the GPV ladder after winning races in Academy. He was dropped by KV86 Powerhouse after a tough start to 2023, but he seemed to come good when joining Cap Clay in the second half of last season, taking a first podium in the reverse grid race at Spa before following it up with another in the rain-affected feature race at Singapore. There were, however, some accidents, and they'll be hoping to steer clear of trouble this time around. Priority 1 Esports. 24 was a breakthrough year in FS2 for owner-driver Craig Patterson and his team from the Isle of Guernsey, as they broke into the winner's circle for the very first time. Unsurprisingly, the team is sticking with the tried and tested lineup of Patterson and teammate Younes Kaurala, who proved to be an effective duo last season. Patterson had his best Formula Sprint 2 season, finishing 3rd last season, and he took his first victory in the reverse grid race at Imola, along with 5 other podiums, including a second win at Interlagos, leading home the first ever 1-2 for Priority 1. Going from strength to strength, Patterson is bullish about his title chances and is expected to be a front runner once more. After joining Patterson at the end of 2023, Younes Kaurala had a difficult first half to 2024, the culmination being his double retirement in Montreal. However, things started to click after mid-season, with a podium in the reverse grid race at Austria leading to more consistent points finishes in the second half. He ended the season on a high, finishing 15th in the drivers' table after backing up Patterson to secure that 1-2 in the Brazil finale, his best finish yet, as he hopes to go one better in 2025. Next is Team RNG. Anthony Nickpon's Polish RNG team had never finished in the top 10 in FS2 since making their debut in 2021. After finishing last in the places in the team's championship in 2023, the English duo of James Knox and Ben Skinner turned their fortunes around with regular points finishes in the top 10 and 3 podiums in 2024. Skinner has been retained for 25 and is joined by the promising Dutchman Thijs Jongstra. After solid performances in Academy and a strong run to the points for 0-1 Esports in Imola, Skinner was signed in his rookie season last year by RNG and eventually delivered on that promise with a reverse grid podium in Hockenheim. Another podium would follow at Singapore along with a string of lower points finishes. Now the lead driver on the team, Skinner's task is to build on the promise he showed last year. Jongstra was another rookie making his Formula Sprint 2 debut in 2024. After substitute drives at Reading Game and the Academy team, Jongstra was signed by 0-1 Esports from mid-season onwards, ironically as a replacement for his future teammate Skinner. He did a solid job with 8 points finishes, including 2 7th places in the final 2 reverse grid races of the season. Hunter Birch Simulation. After a promising rookie season in Formula Sprint 2 saw them place 8th in the 2024 standings, the British Racing Green team, owned and named after commentators Edward Hunter and Joshua Birch, are back for their second campaign in GPVWC. Race winner Joe Gillette stays on the driver lineup from last season, and he's joined by Magnus Ockenhaug, the Norwegian, fresh off his 4th place finish in last year's Drivers' Championship. After scoring a podium for ST Racing in 2023 in Abu Dhabi, Gillette signed to drive for the new team in 2024. After a tough start to the year, Smokey Joe was able to finish consistently in the top 10, scoring 21 points finishes across the season, including a first FS2 win for both driver and team in the wet at Silverstone, followed by a reverse grid triumph at the Hockenheim Ring. He ended last season 7th in the points table, and this time around is aiming to be close to the front on a regular basis. Ockenhaug enjoyed a strong season in Formula Sprint 2 with Optiminal in 2024, taking an impressive 26 points finishes, including 4 podiums, 2 of which were reverse grid wins at Shanghai and the Circuit of the Americas. His efforts last season helped Optiminal to 2nd in the standings, and his signing is a big statement of intent by Hunter Birch, as they aim to break into the top 5. Reading Abe Studios Racing. Narrowly pipped by friends and rivals Hunter Birch by a mere 3 points last season, Tom Dillon's Reading Game team are keen to strike back in their third season after a promising start to 2024 came undone when Matusz Majka left the squad to join Optimal and then went on to win the Drivers' Championship. This time the white and blue squad have opted for the services of relative newcomers Kasper Koritz and Brody Lawless. The Estonian Koritz got his big break in FS2 mid-season in 2024 with Friesland after multiple wins in the Academy Series. At Imola, he was just 4 seconds off the victory with a strong drive to second place. He had 14 points finishes across this part season and took 3 more podiums at Barcelona, Silverstone and the Circuit of the Americas. With 13th in the standings last season, there's every chance that Koritz could have a breakout season with Reading Game. Britain's Lawless is another driver with multiple wins in Academy who broke into FS2 last season. However, luck was not on his side with 9 non-finishes from 16 appearances. He ended the season with a stellar performance to take his first podium with 0-1 in the season finale at Interlagos. Brody will aim to build on this and stay out of trouble, or else he could become a law unto himself this season. Hutt Performance Engineering. Former podium finisher Dan Hutt brings his HPE team back for a third season in FS2 after stepping down from the driver lineup in the middle of last season. After 2 finishes in 10th in the team's table, the Dutch outfit will be hoping to finally break the top 10 and is keeping continuity in the driving lineup with race winner Bobby Vakuinov and Johannes Leppert both staying on. Vakuinov embarks on his third season in FS2 in 2025. Last season he scored 20 points finishes and got 2 reverse grid podiums in the USA and Brazil on his way to 11th in the points table. Now with a stable home at Hutt Performance, Vakuinov is expected to continue to be a reverse grid specialist. Johannes Leppert took over from the team owner Hutt in the middle of last season after also doing 7 races with the team in 2023. In 24 he scored points on 5 occasions but is yet to finish in the top 10, something he will seek to rectify this time around. Excellion Motorsport. Roy Seifert started the Excellion team last season after finishing 3rd in the standings for Red Vent Racing in 2023. The team enjoyed 2 reverse grid victories in Japan and Belgium, but infrequent point finishes and a fluid driver lineup meant that they placed 13th. Podium finisher James Knox and race winner Kurti Rotjav now join the yellow outfit, hoping to push it up the standings. British driver Knox impressed in Academy to the point that he got signed full-time with Team R&G. He was in the points 20 times on his way to 10th in the standings, with the highlight being his reverse grid podium in Shanghai. It's no surprise that Excellion have been knocking at Knox's door to get him to sign in the dotted line for 2025. Estonian Rotjav is another Academy driver who got his break in FS2 last year and immediately impressed, eventually settling in with ST Racing mid-season in a campaign that saw him finish 15th in the driver's standings after 17 points finishes, a reverse grid win in Austria and a podium in Monza's reverse grid round. Eager to prove himself, expect him and new teammate Knox to be evenly matched. ST Racing. 24 was another difficult season for Mark Fuller's ST Racing outfit, but were yet to finish inside the top 11 in the team's table. Rotjav's win in Austria was the team's first since 2022, but it did show some long-awaited signs of recovery for the team. Mainstay Mihailo Vicentijevic stays on for a 4th campaign, and this time around he's joined by the exciting young talent of Mano Manikandan. Vicentijevic had an eventful 2024, although not for the right reasons. He had the most non-finishes of anybody, and after 3 full seasons he is yet to join the ranks of FS2 point scorers. With over 20 years of sim racing experience under his belt, the Serbian admits that his best results are probably behind him. If he can break into the top 15 this season though, not a single driver in GPV would begrudge him a breakthrough point. Indian driver Manikandan was a bit of a wild card in 2024, with some substitute rounds in the midfield. He scored his first point with an impressive drive in the wet for Smile Power in China, but he was also involved in more than his fair share of accidents. Nonetheless, the pace is definitely there, and ST will be hoping he can stay out of trouble and provide some giant-killing feats in 2025. Scuderia Freccianera. Luca Tizzano's lean, mean, black and green team endured a tough sophomore season in FS2 last year, slipping down to 15th in the team standings. However, it's all changed in the driver lineup for 2025, as podium finisher Damir Koratko is partnered by rookie Josh Flynn. Koratko was very impressive in Academy last season, leading him to land a drive at Hunter Birch. He delivered a fantastic second place at Silverstone, just behind Christos Philo, but unfortunately he racked up a lot of penalty points and was banned for a race after causing a lap 1 pile-up at Baku. Whilst consistency was hard to come by, he did manage 8 points finishes and ended on a high with 4th place at Brazil. Now he's landed on his feet at Freccianera expect the Serbian's talent to flourish this season. Scotsman Flynn joined very late in the 2024 season, securing a pair of points finishes in Azerbaijan and the USA. He also acquitted himself well on his FS1 debut at Singapore, where he dramatically stole a point on the final lap of the feature race. VMS Sun Edits Racing. After taking the wooden spoon in FS1 last season, Guy Sonnevelt's VMS Sun Edits team returns to FS2, looking to recapture the 23 form, which took them to 8th place in the championship. Justin van der Smissen stays with his local team for a third season, and he's rejoined by his fellow countryman and 2024 teammate David de Vries. Van der Smissen endured a difficult 2024 as VMS struggled to find their way on car setup. The sole bright spot was the 4 points he scored in a chaotic race in Saudi Arabia, the venue where he also scored his first FS2 podium in 2023. Given his immense talent still shine through in difficult circumstances, expect the Dutchman to return to form this season. De Vries had a baptism of fire with VMS in FS1 last season, failing to score a single point. The sole positive was that he was very consistent, getting 21 finishes and a lot of mileage under his belt. Now he's making his FS2 debut, he'll be considering 25 to be a reset, where he hopes to build his confidence and unlock some more pace this time round. Blue Horns Racing. Race winners Jörn Dix and Florian Haase had a difficult season at Excellion last year. Now, the German duo are reunited at Dix's Austrian Blue Horns Racing outfit, and hoping that they can both rekindle their fortunes. A race winner for Red Ven in 2024 was a much more punishing season for Dix, with 8 retirements and just 3 points finishes, with 6 at Silverstone being the high point of the year. Now that he's in charge, Jörn should feel more at home this time around. Haase endured 2 difficult seasons in a row, with Optimal and Excellion in FS2, with last year's efforts yielding only 3 points finishes. With his first win in Bahrain in 2023 feeling an awfully long time ago now, Haase will hope to turn things around and take the bull by its blue horns in 2025. Mapes VO. This legendary Anglo-Dutch team, owned by Matthew Maple, won 3 Super League Constructors' Championships in a row from 2002 to 2004, along with 2 drivers' titles for Mikko Jalkanen. After 19 years away, Maple is bringing his iconic team back onto the GPVWC ladder and has hired 2 relatively inexperienced newcomers in Michael Falkenhayn and Samui Slavev. German driver Falkenhayn stood out in 2024 for his amazing speed over a single lap, qualifying 4th and 7th for the final 2 races of the season. Over a race distance though, things tended to go wrong, and although he did score a handful of points in the reverse grid rounds at Baku, Kota and Interlagos for KB86 and Reading Game, he is nonetheless very highly rated by rivals. If he can hone his racecraft, then Falkenhayn could be the driver to return this legendary team to glory. Bulgarian Slavev showed a lot of promise and speed in Academy, winning the reverse grid race in Mexico. He's only driven in the season finale in FS2 last season as teammate to Falkenhayn, with a best finish of 21st, but he's yet to get the chance to truly deliver. Expect him to be a solid foil to Falkenhayn and break into the point scorers before too long. Orbit Motorsports. Slavev is shooting for the outer atmosphere by starting his own Orbit Motorsports team. Star signing Omari Watson is joined by rookie Shimon Kanda. Watson returns to FS2 after 3 seasons competing at the top in FS1 for HGP and Netrex GP. Last season he was 5th in the points for the 2nd time and scored 9 podiums and a brilliant win at Hockenheim, but a team's championship challenge slipped away with bad luck and a number of errors under pressure, such as spinning out of the final lap loss leading the reverse grid race at Baku. His raw speed and tyre management definitely mark him out as one to watch, and the Brit remains one of the most popular drivers in GPV. Expect him to challenge for the championship. Polish driver Kanda had only a handful of substitute drives after some very strong performances in Academy, scoring points in only his 2nd race with Team RNG at Monza before finishing 2nd on the road for ST Racing at the United States before a track limits penalty took him out of the points. He ended the season 13th and 10th in Interlagos and could well build on that as a teammate to the experienced Watson. Potentia Grand Prix. For 2025, Academy race winner and FS2 point scorer Josh Dexter has decided to unleash his Potentia GP team upon an unsuspecting paddock this season. The hugely experienced Sandeep Singh leads the driver lineup, partnered by relative newcomer Domenico Scapelli. 2019 FS2 runner-up by just 10 points to Jonathan Holmes, India's Sandeep Singh returns to the lowest step on the GPV ladder after being the vice-champion in Superlights last season to road to Formula teammate Alex Lahou. 3 fantastic victories at Suzuka, Silverstone and Spa meant he helped R2F to their second team's title in a row. With 6 more seasons under his belt in the second tier, can Singh go one better than his last FS2 campaign? Italian Scarpelli is the team owner of Apex GP and an academy veteran of 3 seasons, who finally gets a full season shot at FS2. Last year he scored 6 times in his 12 races as a super sub, and he'll be hoping to deliver on his potential with Potentia. Venus Motorsports. The final new entry on the 25 grid makes history, as Alice Stone's Amsterdam-based Venus Motorsports is the first all-female team to enter GPVWC. After 25 seasons, it's certainly overdue. On driving duties will be the 3 C's: Charlotte Menink, Caitlin Penny, and reserve driver Caroline Harvick, all of whom have impressed in Academy. Dutch racer Menink impressed in Academy last year after switching from endurance racing, and was picked as a substitute driver at Hunter Birch, qualifying 9th on debut at Hockenheim before scoring her first 2 points in the chaotic wet races at Singapore. Now, she's earned a full-time seat at Venus, and expect her confidence to continue to grow. You may recognise Caitlin Penny as the voice of Super League commentary, but she's also been competing in FS2 on and off since 2020. Last season, she scored points on 3 of her 12 race appearances, and also scored her first top 10 finish in the category in Singapore, driving for Excellion. More than just a safe pair of hands, Penny's consistency had rightly earned her a huge amount of respect over the years. With just 4 retirements from 66 races, she's a driver that never gives up until she gets the checkered flag. Finally, GPVWC Academy. Rounding out the 15-team field is the Academy team, which allows the best drivers from Academy a chance to impress the FS2 field with a view to getting a full-time race seat. Expect the lineup to change race by race, as new drivers are introduced from the Academy series by Menno Klont, and he will bring those drivers through to Formula Sprint 2. That rounds out the grid for Formula Sprint 2. I've been Toby Davis, I will be joined by Alex Folks, and we look forward to you watching the Formula Sprint 2 season in 2025.